area. We're reading chapter 39 of the book of Ezekiel today. As I mentioned at the end of the previous chapter, end of chapter 38, which was speaking about Gog and the allies of Gog and the judgment on Gog, I did my research. Turns out Gog was the king of a land called Magog, which represented three other places called Rush, Meshech, and Tubal. And these, in modern day times, would be where modern day Russia, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, and parts of Turkey are located. So clearly, obviously, the people group of that time, some 3,000 and 4,000 years ago, or 3,000 years ago, I think Daniel lived maybe 8 centuries BCE, and Ezekiel, not entirely sure on that one. I gotta look that one up as well. But so it's different people groups now in those areas than there were then. But Gog is not a place. Gog is the king of a place called Magog, which had parts called Rush, Meshech, and Tubal. All of those places were located in the areas where now we find Russia, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, and parts of Turkey. Having said that, chapter 39 has, I believe, 4 passages. The first passage is called Gog's Armies Destroyed. The second passage is called The Burial of Gog. The third passage is called A Triumphant Festival. And the fourth passage is called Israel Restored to the Land. And you, son of man, prophesy against Gog, and say, Thus says the Lord God, Behold, I am against you, O Gog, the prince of Rush, Meshech, and Tubal, and I will turn you around and lead you on, bringing you up from the far north, and bring you against the mountains of Israel, out of your right hand. You shall fall upon the mountains of Israel, you and all your troops, and the peoples who were with you. I will give you to the birds of prey of every sort, and to the beasts of the field to be devoured. You shall fall on the open field, for I have spoken, says the Lord God. And I will send fire on Magog, and on those who live in the security in the coastlands. Then they shall know that I am the Lord. So I will make my name holy, known in the midst of my people Israel, and I will not let them profane my holy name any more. Then the nations shall know that I am the Lord, the Holy One in Israel. Surely it is coming, and it shall be done, says the Lord God. This is the day of which I have spoken. Then those who dwell in the cities of Israel will go out and set on fire and burn the weapons, both the shields and the bucklers, the bows and arrows, the javelins and spears, and they will make fires with them for 7 years. They will not take wood from the field, nor cut down any from the forest, because they will make fires with the weapons, and they will plunder those who plundered them, and pillage those who pillaged them, says the Lord God. Passage 2, the Burial of Gog. It will come to pass in that day, I will give Gog a burial place there in Israel, the valley of those who pass by east of the sea, and it will obstruct travelers, because they will bury Gog and all his multitude. Therefore they will call it the valley of Hamon Gog. For 7 months the house of Israel will be burying them, in order to cleanse the land. Indeed, all the people of the land will be burying, and they will gain renown for it on the day that I am glorified, says the Lord God. They will set apart men regularly employed with the help of the search party to pass through the land and bury those bodies remaining on the ground in order to cleanse it. At the end of the 7 months, they will make a search. The search party will pass through the land, and when anyone sees a man's bones, they shall set up a marker by it till the buriers have buried it in the valley of Hamon Gog. The name of the city will be Hamona. Thus they shall cleanse the land. Just gonna hide this user first. And the second passage is titled A Triumphant Festival. And as for you, son of man, thus says the Lord God, speak to every sort of bird and to every beast of the field. Assemble yourselves and come, gather together from all sides to my sacrificial meal, which I am sacrificing for you, a great sacrificial meal on the mountains of Israel, that you may eat flesh and drink blood. You shall eat the flesh of the mighty, drink the blood of the princes of the earth, of the rams and lambs, of goats and bulls, all of them fatlings of Bashan. You shall eat fat till you are full, and drink blood till you are drunk. At my sacrificial meal, which I am sacrificing for you, you shall be filled at my table with horses and riders, with mighty men, and with all the men of war, says the Lord God. That's a little bit creepy, that passage, even though it says the Triumphant Festival. Anyway, kind of a little bit. I think when I think of these things, certain passages in Ezekiel does sometimes remind me of course, I never read the Bible back in the days, right, as I do now. So I used to be very much into like Buffy and TVD and those types of shows a very long time ago. And reading this kind of reminds me of why they tend to always have like biblical references or biblical kind of things in those types of shows, because there are verses in here that obviously are not prescriptive or descriptive. They're symbolic, I think. Definitely not prescriptive. Not so certain about the descriptive, but I'm certain it is mostly all symbolic and speaking in a very blood or mighty men or whatever actually means this or something like that. I don't know the actual meanings, but that's what I'm guessing, because it's a little bit creepy and it sounds a little sounds a little bit like something you'll see in Buffy or something of the sort. Anyhow, I think that's where like the gothic genre or the dark academia genres probably came from. Passage 4. Israel restored to the land. I will set my glory among the nations. All the nations shall see my judgment, which I have executed, and my hand, which I have laid on them. So the house of Israel shall know that I am the Lord their God from that day forward. The Gentiles shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they were unfaithful to me. Therefore I hid my face from them. I gave them into the hand of their enemies, and they fell before the sword. According to their uncleanness and according to their transgressions I have dealt with them, and hidden my face from them. Therefore, thus says the Lord God, now I will bring back the captives of Jacob, and have mercy on the whole house of Israel, and I will be jealous for my holy name. After they have borne their shame and all their unfaithfulness in which they were unfaithful to me, when they dwelt safely in their own land, and no one made them afraid, when I have brought them back from the peoples and gathered them out of the enemy's lands, and I am hallowed in them in the sight of many nations, then they shall know that I am the Lord their God, who sent them into captivity among the nations, but also brought them back to their land, and left none of them captive any longer. And I will not hide my face from them any more, for I shall have poured out my spirit on the house of Israel, says the Lord God. So that was chapter 39 of the book of Ezekiel. Thank you all for listening and watching. that's all. I will be back with chapter 40. God bless you. Bye now.